Uh, hey, welcome to our final talk of the Transmission series. We are pretty excited to see that few of the amazing speakers we had since the beginning, and as this was our first event, so we are really glad everyone who came across the event to join with us. So for the people who might have come for this talk for the first time of the series, AOQC stands for Ashoka University Core Collective, and in light of the trans their visibility, last month we had this whole series called Transmission, where we brought trans people across the communities on uh, through we extended this talk outside the Ashoka campus through this feature. And so today we are joined by Jamal Siddiqui, who is a trans man, and he would be talking about his experiences of Islamophobia as a trans person in the community. And he is an amazing writer, a YouTuber, and we are very glad that we were able to have him to talk for us as a part of transmission. So I'll be handing over the mic to him for the talk.
Thank you so much, Anubhav. Uh, so I would like to start by saying thank you so much for inviting me for the talk. And so today we are going to talk about Islamophobia. I want to share about my experiences of Islamophobia in the community as well as outside the community, that is LGBTQI community. So nowadays it's very common to see Islamophobia everywhere, and so from CAA to Kashmir to lynchings that are happening nowadays. So being born in a Muslim family, it's a very common experiences which we feel now every now and then. I also want to deeply emphasize that how you feel Islamophobia or how you experience Islamophobia is deeply dependent on your class and your caste. सो फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर आप अपर कास्ट फैमिली से आते हैं तो आपका एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ इस्लामोफोबिया डिफरेंट होंगे टू देम जो दलित हैं या जो माइग्रेंट्स हैं बिकॉज जो दलित लोग होते हैं वो एक तो इस्लामोफोबिया आउटर कम्युनिटी से फेस करते हैं एज वेल एज उनको डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस करना पड़ता है अपनी खुद की कम्युनिटी में एंड फॉर इंस्टेंस अपर क्लास पीपल विल फेस अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ इस्लामोफोबिया जो वर्किंग क्लास पीपल या लोअर मिडिल क्लास पीपल फेस करते हैं. So I want to show you one PPT which I've made. So let me see. Okay. I do. Okay. So as we're talking about Islamophobia, so what is Islamophobia basically? Mm, Islamophobia is basically जो डर, जो नफरत और जो प्रेजुडिस इस्लामिक रिलीजन और इस्लाम के खिलाफ या मुस्लिम लोगों के खिलाफ होती है लोगों में, उसको हम इस्लामोफोबिया कहते हैं. इसी के साथ आई ऑल्सो वांट टू मेंशन द हेट क्राइम्स. हेट क्राइम्स आर बेसिकली बायस मोटिवेटेड क्राइम्स जो परपेट्रेटर विक्टिम को टारगेट करता है क्योंकि विक्टिम का एक मेंबरशिप है या एसोसिएशन है किसी ग्रुप के साथ या किसी सोशल ग्रुप के साथ, किसी रेस के साथ, etc. So I have some data which I want to show you of Islamophobia. So it's not like कि इस्लामोफोबिया पहले एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता था, बीजेपी के आने के बाद ही एग्जिस्ट करता है या 9/11 के बाद एग्जिस्ट करता है. इस्लामोफोबिया का एग्जिस्टेंस पहले भी था, but it's just it amplified after that. So as you can see that 90% of religious hate crime has increased after BJP government came into power. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, Kashmir is one of the biggest example of Islamophobia, as there are 500,000 Indian troops stationed in the region, और वो स्टेट हमेशा कांस्टेंट इमरजेंसी में रहता है। एंड यू कैन से कि फॉर बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स एंड फॉर बेसिक फ्रीडम उनको पनिश किया जाता है और उनको दबा के रखा जाता है। इसके अलावा एक सचार कमेटी है जो मुस्लिम वेलफेयर के लिए बनाई गई है, जिसने 2006 में एक रिपोर्ट निकाली थी कि पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस Muslim community is facing long term marginalization and socio-economic decline, and they're also near bottom of this national ladder. इसके अलावा एनसीआरबी का एक डेटा है, स्टैटिस्टिक्स डेटा है, जो ये कहता है कि 67% ऑफ पर्सन जो जेल में आपके डिफेंडेंट्स हैं, जिनका ट्रायल चल रहा है, उनमें से 55% लोग मुस्लिम, आदिवासी और दलित है, जो टुगेदर 39% ऑफ इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन को बनाते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देर आर 10 स्टेट्स इन इंडिया जहाँ पे कम्युनल वायलेंस बहुत ज्यादा है, जो है उत्तर प्रदेश, कर्नाटक, महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश, बिहार, राजस्थान, वेस्ट बंगाल, झारखंड, तेलंगाना एंड असम। एंड उनमें सिर्फ 2 साल 2015 और 2017 में 1972 केस रजिस्टर हुए हैं। ये सिर्फ रजिस्टर केस हैं, इनके अलावा देर आर लॉट ऑफ केसेस जो कभी रजिस्टर्ड भी नहीं हुए हैं। Now, while we are talking about Islamophobia, I also want to show you forms of Islamophobia कि Islamophobia के forms क्या होते हैं। So there's one form which is visible form of Islamophobia, and then there are microaggressions. Visible forms में there is shouting, pushing, spitting, pulling hijab of Muslim women, beating, which can lead to murders. Then also there are attacks and vandalization of the properties of Muslim people, be it a shop, be it a mosque, or graveyards, or anything like that. So nowadays, one of the most common form of Islamophobia is organized intimidation, जो आजकल लोग कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे लोग मार्चेस निकालते हैं मुस्लिम एरियाज में, एंड एडवर्टाइजमेंट अगेंस्ट मुस्लिम रिलीजन, या कुरान बर्निंग, या फिर डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन अगेंस्ट मॉस्क हुआ या कल्चरल सेंटर हुआ। एक बहुत ही कॉमन इस्लामोफोबिया है जो आजकल नहीं, हमेशा से लोग फेस करते आ रहे हैं मुस्लिम पीपल, दैट इज इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड इस्लामोफोबिया। इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड इस्लामोफोबिया इज बेसिकली, अगर एक स्ट्रक्चर में या एक इंस्टीट्यूशन में दो लोग हैं, एक मुस्लिम और एक हिंदू या बीट एनीबडी एल्स, सो जो मुस्लिम पर्सन है उसको लेस फेवर किया जाता है, दे आर बुलीड, दे आर हरास्ड, पॉइंटेड जोक्स किए जाते हैं उनके ऊपर, और अगर कोई टास्क असाइन किया जाता है या फिर उनका जब असेसमेंट होता है तो उसमें बहुत फर्क होता है, एंड इन दैट स्ट्रक्चर एंड इन दैट इंस्टीट्यूशन दे ऑलवेज फेस hostile or adverse environment. And I also want to mention that our state plays a very important role in this Islamophobia, क्योंकि जो हमारा स्टेट है, देयर इज अ इंटेंसिफाइड सर्वेलेंस जो मुस्लिम लोगों का किया जाता है ड्यू टू दिस परसेप्शन कि मुस्लिम लोग, हर मुस्लिम इंसान टेररिस्ट है, बी दिस सर्वेलेंस इज प्राइवेट और ऑन योर फेस। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जो हमारा क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम है वो मुस्लिम लोगों को बहुत कम फेवर किया जाता है। जैसे अगर कोई मुस्लिम इंसान को सेंटेंस किया जा रहा है तो उसमें बहुत फर्क होगा। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, इफ समबडी इज विजिबली अ मुस्लिम पर्सन और इफ यू नो दैट पर्सन इज मुस्लिम, सो उसको कहीं पे भी रोक के उसको कहीं पे भी सर्च किया जा सकता है। एंड स्टेट पुलिसिंग बहुत होती है, जिससे हम लोगों को मुस्लिमनेस एक्सप्रेस करने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है, चाहे वो मॉस्क का एक्सेस हो या फिर आपको कपड़े पहने हो, मुस्लिम ड्रेस कोड करना हो। One more thing which I want to mention, suppose if you're seeing a person wearing a Pathani coat or Muslim cap or burqa or hijab, and then you keep on staring that person, that is also a form of Islamophobia which people do. So these are the forms of Islamophobia. Then I also want to mention कि effect क्या होता है Islamophobia का एक मुस्लिम पर्सन के ऊपर। One of the most common effect जो एक मुस्लिम इंसान का के ऊपर होता है of Islamophobia is on confidence and is on their mental health. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जो ये वायलेंस और जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है, इससे हमारी सोशल और स्पेशल मोबिलिटी बहुत कम हो जाती है इन इंडिया। जो भी अटैक्स और जो भी कम्युनल वायलेंस होते हैं वो सालों साल उनके केसेस चलते रहते हैं, और अगर उनके ऊपर कभी केसेस चलते रहते हैं और कभी-कभी उनके ऊपर अगर कभी ट्रायल भी होता है तो जस्टिस मिलना बहुत मुश्किल होता है। एंड देयर इज़ अ कांस्टेंट फियर ऑफ वायलेंस व्हिच वी लिव इन, एंड देयर इज़ अ कांस्टेंट फियर ऑफ एक्सक्लूजन, जो हमें कम्युनिटी से एक्सक्लूजन हो जाएगा व्हिच वी लिव इन। उसके अलावा जो सोशो इकोनॉमिक अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ होती हैं वो हमारे लिए बहुत लिमिटेड हो जाती हैं ड्यू टू इस्लामोफोबिया। एक चीज़ होती है कि घर मिलने में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है, बी इट रेंटेड प्रॉपर्टी, बी इट यू वांट टू बाय अ प्रॉपर्टी। कोई भी आपको रेंट नहीं देना चाहता है, रेंट पे नहीं देना चाहता है, या कोई आपको बेचना नहीं चाहता है अपनी प्रॉपर्टी, या कोई खरीदना नहीं चाहता है आपसे आपकी प्रॉपर्टी, जस्ट बिकॉज़ यू आर अ मुस्लिम पर्सन। And also we are seeing in this corona time that coronavirus is largely blamed on Muslim people कि मुस्लिम लोगों की वजह से फैल रहा है, which is also a misconception. So these are the effects of Islamophobia. I also want to mention the cause of Islamophobia. The first institution जो आपको introduce करता है to Islamophobia is our families, is our society, is our community which we live in. And nowadays, one of the most is Islamophobia causing factor is social media. जो फेसबुक पे या व्हाट्सएप पे जो वायरल वीडियोस होती हैं या जो व्हाट्सएप फॉरवर्ड्स होते हैं, और इन सब की वजह से जो इस्लामोफोबिया है काफ़ी फैल रहा है। इसके अलावा हमारे जो पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स जो बयानात देते हैं, जो वो बयान देते हैं, उसमें काफ़ी कुछ वो बोलते हैं इस्लामोफोबिक, जो लोग जिनको फॉलो करते हैं वो भी उन चीज़ों को मान लेते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आवर रिलीजियस लीडर्स आर नॉट बिहाइंड देम, वो भी उनसे एक कदम आगे हैं, वो भी ये प्रोपेगेंडा स्प्रेड करते हैं ऑफ इस्लामोफोबिया। सो नाउ I want to talk about my experience of Islamophobia, not only in queer trans community, but also in uh, my non-queer trans community, LGBT community life. Just a second. So I remember my first Islamophobic experience was in ninth standard when I was studying in केंद्रीय विद्यालय। सो हमारे जब गेम्स पीरियड था, हमारा एक रूल था कि हम लोग क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे। क्रिकेट में हमारा एक रूल था कि अगर कोई भी इंसान ग्राउंड से बाहर बॉल फेंक देता है तो दे हैव टू पिक अप देयर बॉल ऑन देयर ओन। सो एट दैट टाइम आई वाज़ द वन हू वाज़ बैटिंग। सो किसी की बालकनी में जाके वो बॉल गिर गई, एंड देन आई वाज़ द वन जिसको बोला गया कि जाइए आप बॉल लेके आइए बिकॉज़ इट्स अ रूल। सो आई वेंट टू द हाउस एंड आई आस्क्ड कि देखिए आपकी बालकनी में मेरी बॉल गिर गई है, प्लीज़ गिव इट टू मी, आई नीड इट टू प्ले क्रिकेट। सो द आंटी जो उन्होंने दरवाज़ा खोला था, उन्होंने कहा था कि शी कांट फाइंड इट। सो आई वेंट इनटू द हाउस एंड आई सर्च्ड इट एंड आई फाउंड इट। Fortunately, that woman was also the neighbor of my best friend. Next day, I got to know that when that woman got to know that I'm Muslim, she washed her whole house with Ganga Jal. As a ninth में पढ़ने वाला बच्चा, I felt very impure as a Muslim person, and it really made an impact on my psychological uh, health. Apart from that, ऑल्सो आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ माइक्रो एग्रेशंस जो लोग करते हैं कि मुस्लिम लोग ऐसे होते हैं, मुस्लिम लोग वैसे होते हैं, मुस्लिम्स ये करते हैं, मुस्लिम वो करते हैं। I remember when I was 19 and I wanted to transition really bad, so I left my college and I went to this school जहाँ पे मैं काम करता था. And I remember I was the only Muslim person there, and it was in rural areas. So I always remember ki that environment was very hostile, and eventually I realized ki that hostile environment was because of my religion, and I was bullied there. I was excluded there in lunch. I was also thrown out of the office because of being Muslim. And also, when it comes to love, it's very hard to find love. Fortunately, unfortunately, all the people I've dated have been Hindu. So when you're dating a Hindu person, so before that, I one of my ex girlfriend introduced me to this term love jihad. Uh, so I when she used to mention what is love jihad, तुमने love jihad किया है, तुमने love jihad किया है. I didn't know कि love jihad actually में होता क्या है. apparently मुझे पता चल गया कि लव जिहाद क्या होता है. Then I realized कि then after that all the people I've dated being Hindu, there's always a constant fear of honor killing in my mind, because apparently in this country being trans से बड़ा या बड़ी big deal is being a Muslim person. Apart from that, I remember last year in the Pride, I went carrying a placard which said ki I am a proud Muslim transman. So that then I was just going in a Pride expecting everybody will be accepting of the fact that, you know, I have a placard said I'm a Muslim and I am a trans person. But the reactions which I got was very weird. Everybody was staring, making faces, and these are the experiences which I had in LGBT community. So I always, but then I always thought ki maybe in LGBT T would be the safest space where I can express myself, be myself without any harassment or without any discrimination. But that illusion also broke. So I remember I was added to a all trans men group, and after just few minutes after being added, a person who recognized that I am Jamal Siddiqui and I'm Muslim started asking questions about my religion. कि Muslim religion तो ये होता है, Muslim religion में तो औरतों को कुछ जगह नहीं है, Muslim religion में ये है वो है. I don't really understand ये है वो है, इतनी नफरत लोग लाते कहाँ से हैं. But then that person kept on saying these things. And suddenly I realized that illusion of safe space is not true, and I have to put on that defense जो मैं पूरा नॉन एलजीबीटी कम्युनिटी में रखता हूँ अबाउट मुस्लिम रिलीजन, that I have to defend Muslim religion all the time. And then again, that turned into a heated argument, and it was just the starting of the arguments which I had with many people. So in Transman community also, there are a lot of people who say ki, there are a lot of WhatsApp forwards which people send me, a lot of WhatsApp videos which people send me saying कि जय श्री राम बोलिए या तो आपका भला होगा या जय श्री राम बोलिए मुस्लिम को मारिए whatever these kind of WhatsApp forwards or WhatsApp messages people send me. So well, this is how it is. I remember recently also there was this person from Canada with whom I had this heated argument about this whole thing. That person was, and that was about CAA. He was pro CAA, I was anti CAA, and then we had this heated argument about why CAA is important or why CAA is not important, or it's just a way to discriminate against Muslim people, which turned into a very ugly fight. And eventually, you realize that these people are just trolls. One of the worst thing which I feel being a Muslim person or being a trans person is that there's a need to constantly defend my religion all the time, be it non-LGBT community, be it LGBT community, and it's very exhausting as a human being क्योंकि आपको हर वक्त ये साबित करना पड़ता है कि आपका रिलीजन अच्छा है या बुरा है या I don't know, and it's mentally exhausting, mentally frustrating, and yeah, that's it from my end. So if you people have any questions for me, you can ask. I think there are live comments option there. Well, that's a very interesting question, Aditi. While I was reading, so Muslim people don't have any reservation as such now in Indian law system or Indian system. So, but for instance, Dalit people do have reservation. So horizontal reservation works in a certain way. If so, people who already have reservation, it will work for them. So people who don't have reservation, उनके लिए horizontal system of reservation won't really work. So we will have to introduce first the reservation for Muslim people, then it might work horizontal. Then the horizontal reservation system might work. So urban spaces are not explicitly homophobic, which is true, but there are always microaggressions. So for good thing about me is that I am, as people say, very good in cis passing. So मेरा cis passing बहुत अच्छा है. It's very easy for me to pass as a cis man. So the that really reduced the amount of what do you say, discrimination against me, and so that's how I navigate the urban spaces. Well, I think there are a lot of good. I think NCR, NRC, and CAA is something that needs to go down. To be very honest, and Trans Act needs a lot of amendments there. Uh, if I keep talk about the amendments, it will take the whole time. But if I talk about general things, then they need to define a lot of things like discrimination and sexual harassment policy, and that district magistrate wala thing, which where they will assign us the first transgender identity. Then we have to do the surgery. I mean, surgery is not important for being trans. Self identification is enough for being trans. And then there is national council, which also needs to define properly. So there are things that needs to define properly, and then yeah. How certain? Well, there are many of such networks and intimacies that have encouraged me to be part of the movement and community, which claims to be very friendly. Uh, I think one of the best thing which I have in my life is that I take experiences as a learning experiences. For instance, there was for instance that I was a part of. There was a event, speed dating event where trans women was not included, but it was for LBT people. I realized that there's a lot of turf, if that's the term, trans exclusionary radical feminist. people there in our circles that made me realize that people are not what they are. So there are many feminist claims to be trans friendly, which they're not. So that's when trans feminism comes into the picture. Apart from that, yeah, that's a very good question, I must say. So the thing is that LGBT community also comes from the same household, also comes from the same background where everybody else comes from. So they don't really come from Mars or Venus or something like that. So they also comes from the same setup, same societies. So they are also they're also they've also grown in the same household जहाँ पे इस्लामोफोबिया ग्रो करता है. So अगर आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि कोई हर कोई समझ लेगा तो नहीं होता है. Not everybody understand it because they also come from the same environment. There are many trans people who don't understand lesbian people. There are many lesbian people who don't understand trans people. So on. There are many things like that because people come from these environments. And then there are many people who don't understand this. Are there any transphobia unique to trans men? There are many. There are actually many. Like if I talk about my personal experiences of transphobia, then there are many. For instance, security checks में जो आपके साथ होता है, that's experience which we can never forget when we are asked to choose or when we are asked to go to the other lines. I remember experience where I was stripped in one airport to show what is what. Then apart from that, so the thing is that one thing which works for trans men is that we come from a patriarchal society, and in patriarchal society there is a power dynamics between male assigned birth and female assigned birth. So this is my personal experiences. So as a trans man or as a trans man, we face patriarchy in certain ways, and that patriarchy also turns into transphobia a lot. Like for instance, हमारे लिए भी कुछ rules, I won't say हमारे लिए भी वो rules लागू होते हैं जो बाकी फीमेल असाइन बर्थ के लिए भी लागू होते हैं. जैसे आप घर से नहीं निकल सकते हैं, आपका घर में रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होते हैं, घर से निकलने में रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होते हैं, कपड़ों में रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होते हैं, तो इन सब चीज़ों में भी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होते हैं. सो पेट्रियार्की आल्सो वर्क्स फॉर अस इन दैट वे. I hope that answers your question.
Hey, thanks, Jamal, for like this talk. And I think it was a very incredible end to the like it showed us a various kinds of the story we had. Ray, who brought us a perspective from a trans woman, how as a student of BU, how she navigates through the spaces. Then we had Grace. Okay, we have one last question. Do you want to take one last question?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. See, there are a lot of things a cis person can do to show their support. Um, First thing, you can start by small steps, asking pronouns while introducing yourself, and don't ask pronoun from just the person who's looking so-called weird. Ask everyone. If you're asking, tell your pronouns as well. And don't force anyone to come out. Provide an environment where people can come out easily to you. And if they're coming out, be supportive to them. And maybe be a listening ear to them. They would need a space to vent out. Read. Read a lot. Maybe that would help you. Apart from that, so there are many people who want to transition, but they are not financially well off. If you are financially well off, you can also help them out. And you can also, if you're not financially well off, then you can also be a huge support system to them. For instance, people need support while transitioning, while surgery, while just being there for people. Because trans people are excluded, alone, discriminated. So if you can just listen to their stories and do whatever you can do, and do read a lot, that would help you out. I hope that answers your question.
Hey, thanks for like you gave us a lot of perspectives even beyond what you came for your talk, which was also really great. I think most people got them answered from you. And so, like to everyone who came for all our talks, I'm really glad you joined us for our talks. And so, transmission will be ending. This was our final talk, and we are so glad that we had so many incredible speakers aligned. And so, yeah, AOQs is ending the series as of now, and we plan to have all of you in our future talks, which when we plan will send out to you. Thanks, Jamal, for ending this last topic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We are glad.